Grammy and Tanya here. I'd love to just say good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. But as we know, it's hard to get up and say good morning and wish a good morning on everyone else when our whole country is falling apart around us. I want to fill you in on my dentist trip Monday and try to do that quickly and then talk a little bit. Um, they went ahead and fixed my tooth, patched it up. Now this makes about 4 times that tooth has been patched up. And reason being is because I have 2 teeth on top that hold my partial. This one's fine, but this one over here has not wanted to hold the work that they've done to patch it up. Someone in the comments was mentioning that they had worked for dentists and wondered if the metal had broke, and yes, it had. And they did patch this up also. And like I was saying, the reason we're doing all this patchwork is because Twiggy's here with me. The reason we're doing all this patchwork is because if I lose that tooth, I have to have an implant so that I'll have 2 teeth to hold the partial in. But, well, now that my partial has been broke, it's compromised too. I have one of those bones in the roof of my mouth. And in order to now, what would probably need to be done is both of these teeth extracted, and then the bone in the top of my mouth would need to be shaved down. I'm going to pause this while I try to move Twiggy. Well, I put him down and he just got right back up here. I don't know what it's trying to knock down my tripod. Anyway, it would be oral surgery, and it would be over $10,000. I don't have any dental insurance, so, $10,000, I can't see paying that at 72, so we'd just be paying for my dental work and not able to do anything else. So they helped me. They patched me up as best they could, and I'm going to try to be as careful as I can. So anyway, that was Monday. Well, Monday night, the patchwork they did on this tooth came loose again, and that rod that's in there was sticking down again. So I had to go back Tuesday and get that fixed somehow where it wasn't catching on my lip and on my tongue. And so I went back down there yesterday, was Tuesday, and she went ahead and told me that it wasn't any need in patching it again, because after like 4 times it's just going to come off again. Excuse me. But she would go ahead and file that down to where it wouldn't be catching on my lip and my tongue. I told her that's good. So they did that, and so I'm able now to put my partial in, and it kind of looks like a gap there, but there is a tooth. It's just a nub. But I only put my partial in when I go out somewhere. So around the house, I won't, or somebody comes around. But around here, just me and the old man, I don't even wear it. So maybe I can make this last somehow. I'm going to take it out while I'm talking. Okay, so that's the situation with my tooth. This is Wednesday. While I was at the dentist Monday, this is a whole nother story than my tooth. After she had explained to me kind of what was going on, and the girl came in and explained, the cost of things and all that, which we'd already went over before. And I was sort of emotional that morning before I went to the dentist anyway. But after hearing that, my emotions were just, I was just, I don't know, I guess if the partial breaks again or whatever, I maybe have the teeth took out, but just go toothless on the top. That's what I was thinking. I'd rather do that than spend over $10,000. So I'm sitting there in the dentist chair, waiting to be, told that, they're done. I could go on. And in walks one of the ladies that works in the dentist's office, which has been working there for years. We were always very friendly and liked each other, talked some. And anyway, she hadn't been down there for a while, and I don't know if she was just filling in since the other dentist was gone and she was helping out or whatever. But she walked in the room, saw me sitting there, and she said, "Well, hello, Antonia. I hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you." And I said, "Well, hey to you too." And she said, "How you been doing?" And I said, "Well, not too good with everything that's going on." And she said a few things, I can't remember what, and then she said, while she was talking, she said, I really don't understand what you mean with everything going on." And I said, "Well, everything that's going on in our country, all these, and what just happened in Texas and all that." And she said, "Oh, honey," she said, "Oh, honey, I know I'm fixing to be told when people down here in the South say, 'Oh, honey,' or 'darling,' or 'sweetie,' or, you know." So anyway, she says, "Oh, honey," she said, "there's a lot of things we just can't do anything about. We just have to pray." And I said, "Well, the way I look at this," I said, "Donald Trump has a lot of blood on his hands over what's going on in our country." And she kind of stepped back a little bit, and she said, "Oh, I love Donald Trump. I just love Donald Trump." I said, "I don't love Donald Trump." I said, "All the blood he has on his hands, and a lot of it started with COVID." And I said, "It's just got worse and worse. I don't love Donald Trump." I said, "This has been very distressing, all that's going on." And she was like backing out of the room or going sideways, acting like she just wanted to get away from me. And I told her, I said, "I love you." And she wouldn't say, "I love you" back. I mean, we always had ended our conversations, "Well, I love you, have a good day," or "Take care," whatever. But I said, "I love you." And she just turned completely off from me and left the room. So, just another heartbreaking situation. And I deal with those things a lot. So, that's Twiggy again. So that was Monday. And then like I say, I had to go back down there Tuesday, and I just drove down there and walked in and told them, that I needed to see the dentist again. And I'd just been down there yesterday, see if she could work me in, and she told me she'd tell her. So I ended up having to sit in the waiting room over an hour, I guess, which was fine because I knew I'd just walked in, and she'd have to work me in. But I didn't see the lady that I'm talking about, and everyone else was nice to me, and I went ahead. She did work, finally was able to see me and do what I told y'all. But it's just an example of how hard it is to deal with people that you've known all your life and always been friendly with, and it's just no longer because, you know, I don't love Trump. I don't agree with all these things that are going on, and it's just terrible. But to try to tell them about it, uh, like I've said, and like a lot of us say, and it is the truth, it is a cult. But it's just not normal. It's not normal. I mean, when the President of the United States says he hates Democrats and throws off on our... Well, Twiggy just is causing chaos again this morning. He just knocked my tripod into the floor, and it's broke. So, you know, that's that. I'm going to have to stop this video. I'm just having a hard time with all this. Excuse me while I light my cigarette. Wendy, my cigarette's fitting this real good. And the honey that Bobby and Lynn sent me this little card that says, "You're a total badass." Well, I try. This is the honey that they sent me. And I had some this morning with butter on my biscuit with some scrambled eggs. It was so good. And I bought me some tureen tea, and I've been having that at night a few times, and I put the honey in that tureen tea, and it's it's just really good. And the old man likes the honey too, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go. I just want y'all to know that I've said it over and over. We just have to be strong, and I'm doing the best I can, and I know y'all are too. I just wanted to check in and let you know about my dentist visit. Maybe I'll come on later when I'm not out of sorts, because Twiggy's kind of upset me here this morning, knocking things off of the table, and then my tripod's laying down here on the floor broke. So let me deal with that and get dressed, and maybe I'll take a little walk or sit out in the yard and talk to y'all a little later. Much love, Tangled Up in Blue, and anybody else who listens. Bye, Grammy.